We're back with our second episode of PBD Real Talk with my co-host Mario Aguilar and our little thinker here. Let's put a shirt on him. By the way, someone's going to win another I'm an Entrepreneur shirt for asking the best questions.
That's
so,
right.
Mario, why don't you lead the way?
Sounds good.
With your first question.
It's good to be back, guys. We have Light's book, and he has a video question.
Video question. Okay. You got to press the play button.
This is the video question. Napoleon Hill says if you channel your sexual urge to a more meaningful use, you can reach very high stations in life because your brain will vibrate much quicker than any other emotion. The question is, your recent video says that you decided not to have sex for 17 months. Can you explain how this emotion drove you to becoming a millionaire? Because it obviously works. It's hard to explain in words, I know, because it's a sexual emotion.
Yeah, so I don't think this thing's ever leaving me with this question, but so I did a radio show and the host asked me why I wrote the book 25 Laws for Doing the Impossible. And I explained to him the fact that I chose to do something that was impossible to me at that time, and it was to sacrifice something that I enjoy the most. So to me, it may have been, chasing skirts, and it was me going after girls, and that was my motivation every single day. That's what I was doing at that time as a 22, 23-year-old. But the purpose of the message with sex is not necessarily just sex. Obviously, it's what you urge the most. For some people, they're addicted to drugs. For some people, they're addicted to alcohol. They're addicted to game, porn. They're addicted to a lot of other things. There's a lot of addictions that are not necessarily, gambling is one. I've seen so many guys with gambling lose everything, but whatever that one addiction could be to you, that is probably the one that you got to take away to stay focused and go out there and win. And it served me very well. So that's what I meant by the whole sexual transmutation thing that worked for me. And it can work for a lot of people as well. But for you, maybe a completely different thing than it is to me. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for everybody, but that worked for me. So it gave me a lot of confidence to know that if I can give that up for 17 months, I'm willing to go through anything else for a period to build a business and win big. And I think anybody that eventually builds a big business, they do have to give up something they love a lot. So that's my answer to, what's his name? What's his handle?
Light's book.
Light's book. That's my answer to you. By the way, next time Light's book, if you're going to ask questions, that's a good question. Just put a shirt on next time you're asking a question on PBD Real Talk. So let's go. Next question.
Cove Legal 2016 asks, what's your advice for entrepreneurs in Africa and other developing countries?
Oof, I think, did we just send like 30 books over to, no, was it Egypt, was it Pakistan? We send it to Pakistan. So Egypt, Pakistan. So we send books all the time to different places. But for the question about Africa, this is what I would tell you. Look, the same way when you read history and you find that Hitler took all the books away from the people, so people wouldn't be liberated, they wouldn't get all this insight to things, so they start questioning things. You got to do the complete opposite in Africa. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I would take the top 10 books on capitalism and I would start spreading it with everybody, especially kids, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. And I would do my best, if I'm running that, whatever the country is, I would make the heroes of that country be entrepreneurs around the world. Pick any one of them, Ma, Musk, take any one of the guys that's successful, Jobs, Gates, Ellison, Theo, any one of them, and make them the heroes, and then inject those books. Start studying Milton Friedman, start studying Atlas Shrugged, start studying anything that has to do with the forms of economy, of why capitalism's produced so many different great products and companies and jobs, where a company like Walmart's was started by a guy named Sam Walton in 1962 and a half, and now it turns out to be a multi-billion-dollar company that employs 2.2 million people, only 1.6 million in America. 600,000 jobs is not in America. That's capitalism. Capitalism in America created 600,000 jobs for people outside of America. So my suggestion to you, what was his name? Kobligu. My suggestion to you would be, one, choose to study and immerse yourself with everything that has to do with capitalism. 2, start spreading as much of that content with other people as you can. 3, inspire people to follow entrepreneurs around the world that follow the system of capitalism. And 4, be extremely successful in your country as an entrepreneur. And then last but not least, this one may sound strange, get involved in politics. You're going to need to get involved in politics. You need more people that believe in capitalism to get involved in politics in Africa. More people that believe that capitalism produces results to get involved in Africa. I have a friend of mine, you met him as well when we were in Harvard, runs a very successful business in Lagos. And Lagos right now has become a very, it's producing a lot of entrepreneurs there. So the spirit has already started to spread. Take those examples. I think you guys got an entrepreneur in Lagos that's worth $22 billion. Use some of those examples of people that became successful, and it'll inspire a lot of the younger guys, younger kids to want to do that one day as well. That'd be my answer to that. Good question, by the way.
Scotty WMCC asks, my wife says I talk too much when nervous. When do you know it's time to shut up in an interview pitch?
Look, just think about it this way. In a sales presentation, if you speak, whoever speaks 20% of the time wins. Just if you can figure out that number, whoever speaks 20%, the other speaks 80%, 20% is winning. So if you're selling a product to somebody, you got to speak 20%. And what do you make sure? What do you need to do to make sure you don't speak 80% of the time? Ask questions, but ask probing questions that gets you information that you're looking for to help you present the product that may be suitable to them. And then at the end, when it comes down to making a presentation, just today I was making a sales presentation to somebody. And then on the conference call, when I made that same sales presentation, I made the offer. There was a 7-second pause on the call. It's very awkward. It's the awkward pause where you want to say something. I've been through this so many times. Nothing was said. The other person said what they're saying. Great. They accepted it. We moved on. It's good to go because they may say yes. They may say no. I may assume they're not interested, but I let them make the contact instead of the statement before I do, so I know exactly their positioning. So use the 80-20 rule in questions and conversations.
Next question. The Hussein asks, Patrick, I am not in a position to hire developers and I do not want a co-founder. Is it worth continuing on my own?
I don't know your business, but I would tell you, for me, I still don't know what the business is. I wanted a co-founder because I think if you can get the right person as a co-founder in marriage, let me put it to you this way. If I'm going to get a business partner, if Mario and I are becoming business partners, right? The mistake people make in getting a business partner is they don't have a prenup in place, okay? Let me explain what a prenup is. If I'm doing business with Mario, you're married right now, I'm married right now. Great. What are we going to do in the event of you and your wife getting a divorce and your wife coming after the business? Pat, are you kidding me? My wife and I have been together for 11 years. I totally get it. We have to talk about it. And if I go through a divorce, I want to talk about it as well. Okay, cool. In the event that you get sick, you get cancer, I get cancer, how are we handling this? Oh man, I don't know. I just hope we are fair. I get we're fair. Well, let's talk about this stuff now so we don't have to do it later on. So if you are going to bring a co-founder in, you got to cover all those areas: exit, buyouts, divorce, death, health issues, differences, argument, chiming in. Wife is trying to tell me what to do because she thinks 50%. She comes to the office. She's bossing everybody around. If it's a woman that I partner with, there was one man that's married to a wife and a woman who was married and had a husband, and their spouses didn't like them working together. So how are you going to handle all these things? Are things you got to talk about way before. So if you are going to get a co-founder, make sure you get a prenup and you sign it. Both parties, both attorneys, get all the logical, skeptical stuff out of the way. So once you get into business, the person knows if this happens, this is what we're doing because this is what we signed on. No problem. It's an arrangement that we made earlier on. But going back to it, saying, is it worth me continuing on my own? That's your choice. No one knows. You're going to have to answer that question yourself.
And we do have a video on how to choose the right business partner.
We do have a video on how to choose it. So Paul, let's put the thumbnail out there so people know as well.
So Ripon Patgiri asks, Patrick, how does an entrepreneur take criticism positively?
How does an entrepreneur take criticism positively? Listen, let me first of all say this to you. If you don't like criticism, don't become an entrepreneur. I guarantee you do not become an entrepreneur. It's just not the business for you. Because every single thing you ever do, you're going to be criticized. By the way, the higher you are up in life, the more criticism comes your way. The most powerful person in the world is the president of the United States. If right now it's Trump, no one's getting more criticism in the world than he is. If it was Obama, no one was getting more criticism than he. If you go back, so in NBA, the best player in the world today is who? LeBron James. No one gets more criticism today than LeBron. He takes a day off, everybody says what they say. Prior to that was Kobe. It doesn't matter what it is. It simply means how big of a life and how much of a leader do you want to be. And if you do want to go up, criticism comes with it. It doesn't just come with the other one. If you don't want to go up, you don't like criticism, don't go up. Play a secondary role or third role so you don't have to worry about that taking place. But how do you take it positively? Disconnect yourself. Let me explain. So there's two parts. There is the part of Pat that I disconnect from myself and I just say, well, this guy said this about me. Well, let me look at it from an outside as a consultant talking to Pat. It's me doing it to myself. You know what? He's right. He is right. I'm disconnecting the ego, arrogance. I have to be right. No. He's right. I got it. I'll move on. I'll improve. Good. We move on. And when you take that approach, guess what? You don't give the criticism this much life. It's when you fight the criticism that you give it so much life it becomes powerful over you. You don't need to be doing, if it's true and it's being said by 3 to 5 credible people who know you very well and they're telling you this is a trend, then you got to make that adjustment and pay attention to it if you want to improve.
We have Arnis Samarins asks, what is better in the long run? Trying to sell a $5,000 deal to 2 people or a $1,000 deal to 10 people?
5,000 or 1. I mean, do you want to be Nordstrom's or do you want to be Macy's? It's preference. It's a simple question, but you got to make a decision. I chose volume over the other one, but you have to make a decision what you want to do. Do you want to be Rolls Royce or do you want to be Toyota? It's a choice.
Con_Sice asks, how do you maintain leadership skills and friendship with your employees?
Mario's probably one of my best friends in the world. I love Mario. Mario's family to me. Our relationship is a relationship that goes back, a son, brother, but family, a friend, and also at the same time, he works here. And I can tell you, there's a couple things we have in place. When it's time to work, there is no BSing, meaning you got to deliver. If you're not, you're going to be called out. If it's family, personal stuff, tell me where you're at. What do you want to talk about? What's going on? Friendship is right there. We don't have an issue in that area, but it's both are handled based on an agreement being in that play. If you don't have an agreement there, it's just not going to be working out. Two of my friends that I help these guys out a lot with their business, Steve and Alfred, they tell each other brutally honest things every single time I'm around them. They're best friends in the world. Each of them will take a bullet for the other guy. But it started off that way where they're brutally honest that neither one of them is now having to warm up to it because that's exactly how it is. I think sometimes when you're walking too much on eggshells with a relationship with somebody, that's a fake relationship. It's way too fake of a relationship. So in an environment, when we come here, when we work, my wife works with me on a daily basis. I tell her, here, I'm the CEO. You're running operations with the responsibilities that you have. We both have responsibilities. At home, you running the house, meaning what do you want to do here? What do you want to do there? No problem. Here, I'm the CEO. So as long as those roles are talked about up front, you shouldn't have a challenge with it.
Hal Entrepreneur asks, what's the difference between starting a business alone and starting one with a partner? What are the pros and cons of each?
I think we kind of covered that one with the other one, so we can skip that.
Silver Fox 113 asks, what is your mindset on teenage entrepreneurs, and do you think teenage entrepreneurs can change the world? 100%.
Let me tell you why. Here's why. See, I don't know what it is to be in high school or in junior high school. I don't know what it is to be in 6th grade today with Snapchat. I don't know what you're doing. The teacher's telling you to do homework. I don't know what you're doing. As much as I can assume and you have my imagination, I will never know as well as you will. You can educate us, right? So a 13-year-old can tell us exactly how high schools are right now or junior high schools are right now. I don't know about the differences between parents arguing which one of your friends has a phone, which one of them doesn't, which one of them sneaks. I don't know how you use fake age verification to get on certain accounts that nobody knows about. I don't know how you're doing certain things to use Twitter or Snap or Instagram or Facebook, and what do you look at, what do you laugh at? All these social things where you are fed with so many emotional videos that you can watch a video and laugh instantly with all these prank videos that we didn't have before. You had to wait on what was that show on TV, the funny things that people would fall? American Home Videos, Funniest Home Videos. We had to wait for once a week to see that. Today you have to wait 3 seconds and pull up a video on YouTube. See, I don't know what it is to be 13 and to do that. So in a way, you got to realize the teenage entrepreneur watching this, you are the leader. We are following your lead. So forget the age part. Everybody leads in something. I may lead you in a certain thing that you may come to me and I can lead you. And there's a lot of things that I think teenage entrepreneurs can lead the rest of us in what is happening in today's time, on what it is to be 13 years old today, what it is to be 14 years old today. And so this is why every time I see a 13-year-old, one of my friends, he brings his daughter or his son, I like to sit there and talk to them for an hour and a half. Tell me how school is right now. How are kids? What are kids struggling with the most right now? What website? What app? What this? I want to know because I'm getting education from them on that specific topic. The world is yours because what you have in your hands today, we did not have in our hands today. The way your brain works and is being fed information, we never had it before. So it's going to be exciting to see what the next teenage entrepreneurs around the world are going to be producing.
Yeah. Lions Patrick asks, do you require your employees to read books before working for you?
I do. We actually added it to our requirement now where everybody needs to know that that is what we do on a monthly basis.
Yourself, at yourself. What's it? Oh, I yourself. I can't read his username. Question for you, introvert versus extrovert, which one makes a better entrepreneur?
A lot of people will say both, but if you say better, if you just go and look at the wealthiest people in the world, Gates, introvert, Buffett in a way is an introvert, Jobs, let's just say he's an extrovert, but he's got some introvert tendencies. Elon Musk is an introvert, Ellison is an extrovert. You can go through all these guys and kind of figure out on who's who. The greatest player of all time, is it better to be a shooter or better an inside game? Who knows? Some debate, the one debate that took place between Will Chamberlain and Michael Jordan, where after a 50th year celebration, the 50 greatest players of all time, these guys went at it the entire time. One scored 100 points, one scored, crushed it with 6 championships, never lost in Game 7. They had 2 different positions, and they're both considered top 3 greatest players of all time. At different positions. Let's do one last one. I saw one about customer satisfaction. I like this one here. Can you ask that one?
Femme Extraordinaire asks,
Paul, let's make this the last one, okay?
what's the best way to manage a business where customer satisfaction is barely under your control?
So customer satisfaction is barely under your control.
Right.
Okay, so listen, I love that question because I have also dealt with that as a CEO running a company where we've gotten some negative comments from folks on where they've said, well, I can't believe they did this, I can't believe they did that, I can't believe they did this. And I have to handle as a CEO because no matter what happens with negative comments, it always rolls up to you. And you got to take responsibility of it. Now watch this here. If you go look at any of Walmart's Yelp accounts, it's all negative. If you go look at any of McDonald's Yelp accounts, they're all negative. If you go look at anything that has high volume business coming in, they're generally negative. Now, let me say, well, no, mine's not because we have a restaurant and when we do this. Yes. If you run a restaurant where your sole responsibility is to make sure the customers that are within 30 yards of you are all happy in your 20,000 square foot facility, 40,000 square foot facility, that's very easy to handle. You know why? Because I could see that waiter, he just got upset. Hey, why are you upset? That customer, what happened? Let me go talk. Hey, ma'am, is everything okay? Is there anything I can get you? You know what? I'm so sorry. You didn't like the steak. No problem. It's on us. What can you tell us? Can you give me some feedback what you didn't like about it? Oh, I am so sorry. Would you like me to get you another one? We don't want you to pay for this. I still want you to leave happy. And that person can leave and say, I don't want to leave a review. For instance, depending on the business you run, you're going to have multiple ways to deal with customer service. If yours is high volume, that is out of your control, the part where it grows very fast that's out of your control sometimes, you're going to break some things. This is from my own experience. You're going to have certain people that come in that are trying to do it faster, do certain things that hurts the system, and you get some negative comments that are being said by your customers that are not happy. But even with that, the out cannot be to say, well, this is why we get negative comments because my business is built this way. That's also not acceptable. As a CEO, 100% that responsibility comes back to you, want to improve it. And you, the entrepreneur asking this question, you got to figure out a way to do this. So how do you do it? Always create an awareness with everybody to know that this matters. Create standards. Create a standard of communication on how to talk with customers that are not happy. Have a system where somebody here is communicating with unhappy customers. The more your system is created in a way to talk to unhappy customers, the less problems you're going to have. In our business, I'm in the insurance world, and we do high volume recruiting with agents that come on board, and I compete with other companies that are also doing the same thing with this New York Life, Farmers, Trans, some of these other companies, State Farm. These guys are also doing high volume recruiting. when you recruit somebody in, unfortunately, 70 to 80% of these guys don't pass their tests. And you got to go through a sales process. And some people can't stand sales because some people cannot stand rejection. And some people don't like to work 60, 70 hours a week. And in sales, you just kind of got to do it. It is what it is. So those who make it, they're very happy. But the one part that we've never had a complaint on is on client side. We've had maybe 3, 4, 5 complaints. We got 50,000 customers that we've had this. That part is extremely controllable because everything that flows through here, we can contact. Everything that flows through here, we can contact. So we had to create a system that allows me to reach out to the customers to make sure they are happy, especially the ones that are unhappy, to find out why. And the key indicator is what? Speed. You complained here. If it took you 1 week to find out they're unhappy, you're lost. See, in a restaurant, if that person complains, 30 seconds, I'm going to her table. If in business, if somebody complains, I find out a week later, I'm in deep trouble. The problem with complaints and customer satisfaction, customer experience is the speed of how long it takes for you to resolve that person's issue that they're unhappy with. And by the way, the sooner you get to it, it's resolved and it's forgotten while you move on. So actually, you know what? I think that's the best question out of all of them. I want to give the best question to, what's the name here?
Junie Sampson, Femme Extraordinaire.
Junie Sampson, Femme Extraordinaire. Let's put that. Let's put that picture up of Junie Sampson. Phenomenal question. You get this shirt. By the way, if you don't like this color, you can tell Mario you want a pink one. We'll send you a pink one here. Our Mr. Thinker is naked again because we took the shirt off of him. Let's make sure Junie gets this shirt. For the rest of you guys that are watching this, and I've been getting a lot of messages, a lot of snaps, and I told you guys we're not doing this on Snap because it's not a possible way for us to click on the hashtag and track all snaps. In this way, it's easy. Sometimes I may check a snap and I don't have time to respond at that time or send it to Mario. Twitter's the way to go. You got any questions? Go to Twitter, hashtag PBDRealTalk. Put my handle in there as well, Patrick B. David, and post your question. If you use it as video, we'll highlight your video. If you just post a question, we'll put your video in here as well. Mario, for a second time, I'm very proud of you. You did a very good job this time.
Thanks so much. I'm trying really hard.
Hey, I think next time we ought to have Mario address one question. Maybe the question could be, what is it working with PBD? Maybe some of that truth could come out on what you could say, spending time with PBD. Or maybe you can give him some editing tips on how you edit videos.
Yes.
The truth behind the editing team.
It's all yours.
Paul is definitely loving the fact that the credit to editing is going to Mario. Anyways, hey, PBD Real Talk, Twitter, go ask your question. Until next time, cannot wait to hear good question being asked on Twitter. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.